Okay, you want a straightforward answer. What if it is grounded to, and whether it's worth getting or not? Just straightforward, without fluff. But let me give you that. Yes, grounded 2 is actually worth getting. It's actually a really good one, and I enjoyed my time with it. But there are some caveats that you need to take into account. And let me tell you this right now before I'm gonna get deep into it. First things first, it is less polished than the first game. Second, it is technically not great. And third, of course, it's launching in early access, meaning that it's not content complete. Even though it's much bigger and much larger content-wise than the first game, at least volume-wise, not maybe variety-wise, but volume-wise, and it feels a little bit different to play because of the few gameplay changes. So let me get to the details, what this game is, what it does, and where you can get it. So first things first, Xbox actually provided me with a key, with a Steam key to play this on my own, but they're not sponsoring this, they're not involved in any way in making this video, so everything that I said is my own. So what is Grounded 2? Grounded 2 is a sequel to the survival crafting game, well, Grounded 1, and it is unique in its way because unlike every other game where it's a fantasy setting, sci-fi setting, or just regular real-world setting, this game takes you into this 90s setting where you are playing as a teenager who was shrunk to the size of, well, Bug. In the first game, you were surviving in a backyard, but right now, in this game, Grounded 2, you're surviving in an entire park. The world is much larger, you have much more different biomes, and entire game is, well, for you to survive. Well, that's basic premise. There is of course a story in here, and it's a fully fledged story. You have a bunch of cutscenes, you have voice acting, you have different dialogues, and you have progressions to the story, but the story is not complete just yet. I'm not gonna lie, story-wise, if we're gonna talk about this game, it's rather interesting. I really enjoyed the 90s aesthetics of the game. Well, everything will just bring with the 90s nostalgia, at least for the Western world. The cutscenes, the music, the entire technology, or even entire UI is brimming with this 90s nostalgia. And it feels really good to watch and even to listen, because the music is even very good and I really enjoyed it too. And the game has style. I like this style. I like when the game goes for the certain style and not just for realism and overall fidelity. It's good to have a style, and this game has it, and has a lot of it. But to give you a really good expectation about the story is not complete. You have only the story until the certain point in the game. And even though the story is really good and I really enjoy this, it feels like you're playing the first season of the game, or rather maybe first few episodes of the story, and the rest will come later. And yeah, I don't mind that. This is an early access launch and this was fully expected. I did not expect full complete story because usually early access games never have those. So if you're expecting complete story, well, that's probably the first early access game that you will ever play. The whole point of early access is to give you the taste of what is coming next and involve you in making those changes to make the game better. And speaking of changes, let's talk about the gameplay. What you do? Well, the story-wise, you are playing with the same characters, one of the 4 same characters that you did in the previous game. So you were shrunk again, and your goal is to find out why this happened and what is happening around. The gameplay loop is also really similar. You go out into the world and you need to, well, survive by collecting a bunch of different resources around you and by crafting a bunch of different things in order to, well, progress to the story and progress through this world. Now, the first big difference and the first big upgrade which will happen with this game is with tools. You see, in every other survival game, you need tools in order to gather and craft a bunch of different things. It will be your axe, your pickaxe, or maybe your hammer, or whatever it is. This game actually changed this completely, and now you have an Omni tool. Omni tool is basically a Swiss Army knife that transforms into any tool that you need, and you don't need to carry it separately. And by any tool you need, I mean one of 4 tools. Well, you start with actually 3, but they're one of 4 tools. It can be your axe, it can be your hammer, it can be your shovel, or it can be your wrench. And it has infinite durability, meaning that you don't need to worry about your actual instruments and your actual tools to do the most basic of things. And I love things like that. And don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that every other tools don't have durability as well. Everything else do have a durability. All the different armors, all the different weapons will have durability, but usually you will lose most of durability when you will die. Speaking of death, it's also really good that you're not losing basically everything when you die. You're losing just your resources, but every consumable, every weapon, and every armor stays with you. So if you were defeated by someone, you can just go and get to the battle basically right from the get-go. But okay, what you do, how you gather resources, what you do, what you fight, etc. Well, first things first, imagine that by being shrunk, everything becomes bigger, and yeah, everything will become the bigger resources that would be usable in our large world. Like suddenly basically your trees are just your grass, and you need to cut down the grass like you would cut down the trees. And you use a bunch of different plant fiber, pebbles instead of big rocks, clay, and all the different resources to build different things. And you unlock the recipes by researching individual parts. And by doing so, you're unlocking different recipes, but different weapons, different gear, different buildings, and you're progressing through the game like that. It's nothing really difficult, to be fair. You will understand this game basically in the first 10-15 minutes without any issue. But what you will do and what you will find a bit difficult to understand, at first at least, is your enemies and the combat. You see, this world is full of dangers. Basically everything and anything will want to kill you and eat you. There are only very few creatures that will not attack you right from the get-go and will not be aggressive right away. And combat-wise, you start by fighting some of the smallest enemies like the mites. Then you progress through and go to larvae, then go to ants, then spiders of different sizes, by the way. And most of the enemies actually have different sizes. Like for example, you're gonna meet spiderlings, then junior spiders, I don't remember exactly the name that they have, actually the name what's called, and then the big spiders. The same for the scorpions, the same for the cockroaches, and basically the same for the most of the enemies. And you need to fight them. And fighting them is actually not as straightforward as you might think. You're not just bashing them continuously until they will die. They will have their attack patterns that you need to learn, that you need to block or evade, and you need to break their blocks as well in order to defeat them. And it's not as easy as you might think at first, but it's also quite challenging and quite interesting to do. And to be fair, more of your friends will play with you, the easier it will become, because it will be easier to divide aggro between different friends. But there is also one more very interesting thing that differentiates this game from the first game, and it is buggies. And by buggies, I don't mean the vehicles. Well, I mean the vehicles, but buggies are actual bugs. And in this case, I think I only met ant and a spider that you can actually incubate yourself, and they will become your vehicles, your mounts. And yeah, and they're actually extremely fun, and they change the dynamic of the game drastically compared to the first game or any other survival games. Now, buggies, they're not simply the mounts that will take you to different places, but this will be the main thing that you will be using. They're extremely fast, and they can outrun basically anyone and everyone. And this paired with much larger world, which will be 3 times larger than Runner 1, helps you a lot. It helps you immensely, because yeah, traveling will take some time otherwise, and it will be very dangerous otherwise. And right now, we can just whiz through enemies without any issues and get to the place that you need to go. And by running through these places, it shows how varied the world actually is. You have a bunch of different biomes the first time. Like for example, you have an actual Arctic biome by having an actual ice cream truck which freezes over everything. So you're basically running around in an ice cream and in freezers, and you need to actually wear appropriate clothing and actual appropriate equipment in order to not die in this freezing weather. And there are also other biomes as well, which, you know, I will not spoil it for you. And more biomes are actually to come. And these buggies help you a lot, because they're not only for movement. You will be able to actually fight while mounting them, and they will actually be able to fight even without you. So these are actually your companions as well in a combat that will drive away aggro from you, making combat a little bit easier and a bit more bearable, at least closer to an endgame. At least endgame right now. But that's not all. Buggies can actually help you harvest different resources as well, and depending on whether you have ant and a spider, they will do differently while harvesting different resources. Like ants are actually better in harvesting, and spiders are better in combat. And it's not even that difficult to get them in the first place, and it's not even easy to lose them as well. So yeah, they're actually quite fun to play, quite fun to have around. And this actually changes a lot compared to what the first game was. But now, an actual really important thing that we need to talk about is why you should probably refrain from getting and buying this game right away, and its technical issue. To be fair, I did not have a lot of technical issues myself, but not that I didn't have them at all. I had a few of them, and it was not game breaking, because I really don't play through a really long stretches of time. I usually play only 1 hour or 2 hours at the same time at max, so I did not encounter a lot of bugs myself, but I know people have encountered a lot of bugs, especially on the lower end PCs, so you need to be very aware. There is also a price. Even though this is not a full $60 game, it's a $30 game, and price-wise, it has a lot of content, and I think it's worth it, especially if you're gonna get this with friends. This game is also available on Game Pass too. So if you have Game Pass on a PC or an Xbox, you can play this without issues right from the get-go. And I think this is one of the best games to get a Game Pass for, especially if you're gonna play it with friends, because this is one of the few games that makes Game Pass worth getting. So So overall, is this game good? I think it is. I really enjoyed my time with it. It is one of the more unique survival games that you will ever see. And it has a really good story as well. I really enjoyed this and I cannot wait to see what will happen afterward. And the gameplay is fun. It's not overly grindy, and exploring this world is really interesting, especially because of how large it is compared to the first. So yeah, I think you should get it, but with all these caveats in mind. Yeah, this should be for today. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one. Check out my other videos right here or right here. I don't know exactly where they will be, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Take care.